Autobots, transform! Jazz, organize a battle unit. We're going after them. Wheeljack!
Hey, what's up, Transformers fans? Welcome to another episode of George Reviews. I am the 80s Transformer fan. I've been doing a series of reviews where I have counted down Hasbro's 1984 catalog Transformers in numerical order. And we are now up to number 7, Wheeljack. So this is the 84 catalog if you haven't seen it in a long time. It features the very first run of Autobot and Decepticons. The catalog in numerical order lists from number 1 to number 25. Number 1 being Brawn, number 25 being Megatron. And I have covered all 6 mini box plus a couple extras. Now we've come to Autobot Wheeljack. He is listed at number 7 if that's coming in on the camera. We are going to check Wheeljack off right now as number 7. And we are going to get into this review. In front of you is Hasbro's original Autobot Wheeljack from 1984. This is not a KO. This is not a reissue. This thing is sealed in the package. So let's start by taking a look at the package. There is Wheeljack inside the bubble. Has a little yellowing on the sticker on the door. He's still sealed to that bubble. Here's the artwork for Wheeljack. I always thought this artwork was very awesome. It shows you how you were supposed to imagine the toy to look. Looks very cool. Those gigantic, strong looking metal hands. The tires look awesome. The missiles look awesome. His legs. Yeah, because you really got to imagine those legs because they're a little jacked up on the toy. The top of the box shows the transformation steps. There's a ding in it right there. Ding in it over there. Side of the box has the product shot and the little label. The back of the box has that vintage artwork. Battle scene in the skies above Earth, I guess. And his tech spec and bio. So speaking of his tech spec and bio, might as well knock this out of the way right now. What Hasbro intended for this character. His function is mechanical engineer. His motto, never do what your enemy expects you to do. Wheeljack is the mad scientist of the Autobots, always inventing new weapons and gadgets. Most adept at driving while in car mode. Likes to show off his stunts. Flying range of 800 miles using solid fuel rockets in arms. Shoots magnetic inducer, shrapnel, needles, and gyro inhibitor shells from his shoulder cannons. He is his own worst enemy, often injured while experimenting with new weapons. Okay, so let's take a look at Wheeljack's statistical readouts. I'm gonna get the coder that I have. Let's make sure I get this right. On the back of this box, his strength is a 7. His intelligence is a 9. His speed is a 7. His endurance is a 5. His rank is an 8. His courage is a 9. His firepower is just over a 7. So I'm just going to say 7. And his skill is a 10. Like that's interesting because a lot of these guys, that you had to look real close, like right here at his firepower, it's past the 7. That's the little bit, so 7.5. So normally I wait to get to that part, but since I got the box for this one, here it is, and here he is in the packaging. So now to get this guy open, I'm just going to slice the side of the tape. Wait, what? You know what? I forgot I have this guy open as well, so I might as well review this one. So I'm going to move this mint seal Wheeljack. All right, let's get into the heart of the review. I had you guys going for a minute. You thought I was going to open up my sealed Wheeljack on camera, didn't you? I had you. I had you. One day it's coming soon. So anyway, I'm going to do an 84 rewind. We're going to go past 84. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about this figure and its origins, just like I did with the mini-bots. So buckle up. Here we go. We have to go back to Takara. Wheeljack was an original product of Takara and their car robot line. And I don't believe his name was Wheeljack. Hasbro came up with that name. But he was a transforming vehicle. And unlike the mini-bots, he was meant to turn into a giant robot. He was a full-size drivable car in their mythos. And the figures in that toy line were like mechanized robots used by pilots, sort of like Voltron. And here is an authentic Diaclone pilot from that mythos. It appears to be some type of helmeted figure wearing a mechanical exoskeleton suit. Again, sort of like I guess the Power Rangers, but obviously a little bit more beefed up. Some techie parts on the suit. And on the feet were these little magnets that would stick to certain parts of the vehicles and certain play sets. The entire back, or some figures had die cast on the entire back. The figures varied. And this is not the one that came with the Diaclone Wheeljack. This is just one I have handy. And if you ever had these G1 figures such as Wheeljack and you opened up the cockpit or the roof of the car and you saw this little hole in there that kind of looked like something could go in there. And yes, this is a seat. If you thought it was a seat, it doesn't look like a seat, but it is a seat. And you could take this pilot and put him in there. And, you know, I guess they would all have their assigned cars and then pilot the vehicle. And when they got into a fight and an emergency arose, they would transform into the big robot. And again, these were not sentient, thinking, living beings. Now, just like with the mini-bots, Wheeljack has a repaint in the Diaclone toy line, and it is known as Marlboro Wheeljack. I do not have that figure, but I have a picture of it, and I want to talk about it. This repaint is highly sought after by collectors, including myself, but it's beyond what I want to pay. I would say beyond my reach, but hey, on a good day, if this figure is complete in good condition, it's going to cost at least $1,500. Yes, $1,500. I once saw it go on a bid tattered and incomplete, and just like, who would even want to buy that thing for $500? That's when I knew I could never ever own this figure. But I do have my own custom version of it. Now this is a KO. That's how popular this figure is. People have actually customize their own. I wish they had an official KO of it, like in better quality, because I had to paint this thing myself and sticker it myself. The stickers are like terrible because I had to cut them out and all that. But anyway, he is so popular that people have created their own. But back to Wheeljack. Wheeljack is actually based on a real life car, like most of the cars. I mean, pretty much all the cars in the Transformer toy line. He is a Lancia Stratos Turbo 5 race car. And as a kid, I had a calendar with a picture of that exact race car in it before I actually had this toy. And so, man, I really wanted this toy. And I wound up picking this thing up. I remember getting it at Montgomery Ward's at Wonderland Mall as a child. And just loving this figure. So taking a look at the Lancia Stratos Turbo, you can see the stickers are peeling on mine. There's a 539 on the door. Anyway, like I got a lot of sticker damage on mine, but most of them are pretty much intact. He's missing this sticker right here. And I squoze this little sticker right in here from the sticker sheet, because the real car has the sticker, the striping going all the way up. I remember because I had it on the calendar as a kid, and it had this same pattern went all the way down here, which none of these, I think the Masterpiece includes it. Yeah, the Masterpiece includes it. But anyway, coming around to the back of the car, yeah, it doesn't have tail lights because race cars don't have tail lights. And when you flip him over, and we're gonna flip him over again, Flip 'em over again. It says Takarako Ltd. 1980-1982 Japan. This is the pre-rub Wheeljack. This entire front portion of the car is die cast. The wheels are rubber. A little metal pin in here. The bolt that they would whoop whoop off to change the tire. Rolls pretty good. Well enough. And again, I showed you the canopy opens. Get that pilot out of here. Because now Hasbro has the licensing, and we can take Sparkplug, move his little stand. And why they never did this, I will never know why they never gave us a Sparkplug. This is my little third-party guy. I think he's from Impossible Toys, I think, and you can put Sparkplug in there. And why they never gave us that, I will never know. But I got it now, and drive him around. So once Hasbro got the licensing, he was released around the world, and Takara even released it in Japan as a Transformer. They actually went with the Transformer line and dropped these figures over there in slightly different packaging. He was released in like Europe and Italy in slightly different packaging. But on to Wheeljack. So this was the second Transformer I ever owned as a kid. So I am going to show you the things that Wheeljack came with. This was a spent sticker sheet. He came with a decoder, showed you to read the tech spec. He came with his instruction booklet. Has the same artwork on the cover as the box art. So you unfold it the reverse way, you flip it over, and it shows you what the set includes: 4 missiles, the wings, 2 launchers, sticker sheet, and Wheeljack. Next panel shows you start, shows you transformation, finish, and you flip it over, continue the transformation. The final product shows you to put the stickers on, and this booklet is a rub booklet. It's after 1985. It shows you have to rub the square to reveal that the Transformer is a true Transformer, right there, and it shows you how to read the decoder. Let's get him transformed now. Just slide out his feet, stand him upright, open these doors, flip them to the back, slide out the arms, and you can flip up the hands at this point. And a lot of people, the instructions show you to rotate these out, but I'll leave them in. I'm gonna show you why. Because when you flip them in, they hit this back panel and kind of keep the arms from flopping too far back. But the correct way, the instruction tell you, is to rotate them out. And I'm going to rotate the head, but when you rotate them out, you see this arm. Oh, I forgot to slide out the feet. This arm sits further back and it's just kind of hanging. So it's better to leave this in the front. Then we get the wings. And we've never known what these things do. They just on his back. Maybe they help him fly. I don't know. Communication thing, right? We don't know. And they have a tech pattern on one side, then there's flat on the other side, so there's a left and a right, and you just can't just flip them. You say you can flip them over, but they're meant to go this way. There are his wings. He comes with the 2 launchers, like I said. On the cartoon, we only saw this guy wielding 1, probably so the artist wouldn't have to draw 2 every time. Alright, second launcher, and I'm going to add the missiles. Mine doesn't fire. They just fall out. And then sometimes they fall out on their own. But here is Autobot Scientist Wheeljack. I'm going to bring him forward. Let's take a look at his face. And speaking of the cartoon, this guy has no eyes that I'm aware of. He has like some molded in things up here that may be eyes. As a kid, I thought they were big unpainted eyes. 2 large eyes on each side. But they drew it different on the cartoon. He does have the little mouth plate we saw in the cartoon and the little ears. I call them ears. They will light up, which made this guy so iconic. And if you don't know, he was voiced by Chris Latta. Chris Latta was the same guy that voiced Starscream, Cobra Commander, and a ton of other characters throughout the years. And he even appeared, I'm a Trekkie. If you guys didn't know, I'm a Trekkie. He even appeared as a Klingon on Star Trek Next Generation in the episode with a speaking role. Like, hey, that's Starscream. It's not the most amazing bot, but I loved this guy as a kid, man. And then when the cartoon came on, and his character, his portrayal of his character with the ears lighting up, and then when he made the Dinobots, he was just a classic dude forever. And to go over his articulation real quick, now this is G1, so yeah, this is going to be short and sweet. His head rotates complete 360. Ta-da! His arms 360, but they're not going to do it because I got the launcher on here, and the hands can move a little bit because of the transformation. They can fold up, actually, because of the transformation. His legs don't do squat. You can put them together and have them move back like that, but that is it. That is it. But back then, the whole thing in the premise was the transformation. That was the thing. You would take your figure, like you would take your figure and take your Decepticon, and he can fight Decepticon Burnback, you know, like that. And then when you get into a pinch, he can take this rocket launcher and, okay, that didn't launch, but one thing, you know what? Let me show you the KO launcher. Now, this is the launcher on the KO. Watch this. I mean, that thing, did you hear that? It shot way past. You talk about putting the eye out. So, if you want to replace some Wheeljack parts, get you a KO launcher. All right, let's get Burn back out of there. And even when Wheeljack was new, the launchers didn't fire like that. The American safety regulations cut that spring and made it less powerful. But man, as a kid, I played with this thing forever. Like I say, when he made the Dinobots, that was it. He was just legendary after that. I mean, you know, a lot of people say, well, Ratchet helped, but you know, this was the guy. He get credited for making the Dinobots. And I talked about it in Wind Charger's review in the 1986 movie. This iconic character, one of my absolute favorite guys, didn't even get a death scene. If you're going to kill off somebody like Wheeljack, please show it. Let's see how this guy died. It's still a mystery who killed Wheeljack and Wind Charger. Where Wind Charger at? Get Wind Charger out here. And in his review, I talked about how RC was just dragging him. And then you just see Wheeljack with his chest mangled, laying on the floor. It's like, oh man, come on. Like, is that Wheeljack? Then they just fighting around him. They moving the launcher, Springer, Hot Rod, and Daniel. Nobody even, I guess RC mourned for a hot second, but it's just like Wheeljack was just gone. And I'm sitting in my chair at the movies just sinking down like, get out of here. I'm just curious, did anybody remember that episode when Wheeljack said, I'll design a vehicle transform for you? Like, I remember it, and I really thought we were going to see Spike transform eventually, but I guess since they were just pushing toy product, you know, a consistent story wound up getting lost. So, back to Wheeljack, and I guess I want to drop you some buying tips for getting this guy. He is prone to sticker wear. They all are, but his stickers are painted on a clear sticker sheet, and just touching it wears away the ink. And the sticker will still be intact and the ink will be gone. So you want to watch for sticker wear, peeling, any toy with rubber tires from 35 plus years ago. You want to watch for cracking and dry rot. The launchers right here on the clip, because you put them on and off. I know because I broke one of mine as a kid. They're subject to breaking. Sliding them over that pin. Comes with 4 missiles. I guess you want to get complete with 4 missiles, even though you only need 2. You know, most adult collectors aren't going to lose the missiles, but it could happen. It could happen. Make sure you got the wings on the back, and I advise buying complete. The spoilers on the back of the hand. These are probably the most expensive things on them, followed by these. The launchers are easy to get, and the missiles not so much. But and you want to watch for fading, yellowing of the toy, because it happens because of the white plastic. And he was always an off-white. He was never like a super bright white like this guy. And you got to watch out for the Chinese KOs. If he's mint sealed in a box and he's under $100, it is a KO. Now, some of these clowns will put an astronomical price on it to try to make you think it's the real deal. I have a KO box. This is a Mirage box. And this is the vintage box, and you can see immediately the KO box color is so much deeper. They didn't get it right. You can really tell. I mean, just if you ever had the original, when you see the KO, it's just too dark. The colors are too deep in it. And some people say they could tell where the artwork is cut off at the top, but they didn't cut all of the panels the same. I'm turning around again. This is Mirage. So it's just, in the gray lines are a lot heavier. It's blended in a lot better here, like it's meant to fade away, to be noticeable, but not to be over noticeable. So that is the difference between a KO box and a vintage box. Okay, before I do a comparison, I wanted to mention also that I played with mine so much. Like I said, I broke the shoulder piece, and then he would get so loose, these panels would flop out, and the hands would just dangle and wouldn't stay together. So he's prone. Once you play with this guy, transform him a lot, he turns real loose. And I guess that's another buying tip. If you buying it in person, you can check for looseness. But this one's pretty good, pretty sturdy. But he would just fall forward, and these panels would flop out. And I used to wonder, as a kid, and not, I guess Hasbro couldn't be bothered to make a few upgrades to the figure. Why didn't these panels just peg into a notch in the leg to make sure they stayed there? If you had this figure as a kid, you know what I'm talking about. Once you played with him and got some good play time, he would just fall forward. Let's size him up and run him down. Okay, I'm going to drop in Masterpiece Wheeljack and Earthrise Wheeljack, which you knew I would. And I got to ask a question. Was anybody else disappointed that we did not get a Siege Wheeljack where he turned into that little cubicle type thing on the very first episode? Here he is with Primus. What? First Autobot we saw in Cybertron, and here's Cybertron. I don't see the big deal. What? Get over it. Decepticon Military Commander Shockwave. Autobot Commander Optimus Prime, of course. You already knew I was going to bring out all 5 Dinobots. Here he is with a generic Decepticon jet from Season 1. And last but not least, here he is next to my custom Marlboro Wheeljack. So that is my story for Transformers Mad Scientist Autobot Engineer Wheeljack. What is yours? Please talk to me in the comments below. And thank you for watching another episode of George Reviews. The reviews where every toy has a story.